It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, everybody? Your boy, Isaac Ike Feldman, is back for another wonderful interview with not only a friend, a brother in arms, a training partner. Occasionally, Tommy's kicking my ass, but Mr. Tom Fitzsimons. Follow him on Instagram at Thomas Fitzsimons. He has the founder's first name, Thomas. Like he's could be one of our forefathers. He also is probably the first person on Long Island martial arts to complete the trifecta, which is to fight for Bobby Campbell, the Jackhammer Promotions, to fight for Lou Neglia, Ray Longo's, Combat at the Space, and last but not least, Nick Canobio's and Chris Machi's Flex Fight Series. Tommy, you're a very wanted man. Like you're teasing us all. You're teasing the promoters. I'm glad that we could get you locked down on the Octagon for a couple minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the platform you're giving me.
No problem, brother. Uh, uh, has that hit you that it's like you're just like experiencing different energies? For anybody who hasn't been to a flex fight, it's basically like it's like a music festival. A lot of lights, a lot of sound, big action. Combat at the Space is a little more toned down. You could see where you're walking. There aren't like girls in cages like Lex Flex, but I love the difference. And you know what? It's raising the level of competition with local martial arts. Have you experienced that? Like, have you seen cross training at gyms? Just like the level of talent over the last 5 years is just boiling.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, especially like I go to all the different events. I go to Bobby Campbell show. I go to the Combat at the Space shows, the Flex shows, and yeah, no, it's an exciting time to fight here on Long Island. You know, a lot of talented fighters are starting to come out from here from all different gyms, and yeah, it's cool to be a part of that.
Who inspired you to step into your first, I don't know, wrestling practice way back when, around middle school, as you were telling me before we recorded, or stepping into your first martial art gym? Was there an active or a retired mixed martial artist that inspired you to fight?
Well, to inspire me to fight, was Chris Weidman. I had always been a huge fan of him. I remember being 11, 12 years old, like buying the pay-per-view for him and Anderson Silva and watching him, you know, knock Anderson Silva out, who at the time was the pound for pound, best fighter in the world. That just like motivated me to be like, oh wow, I could actually like do this. Like a guy from a similar background as me and similar roots, like it gave me like that light bulb in my head kind of went off like, oh shit, I could actually do this if I wanted to, you know what I mean? But yeah, I started jujitsu first. My dad kind of put us in it because me and my older brother, we were kind of crazy kids, always, beating the shit out of each other. And he tried to put us into different sports and stuff, and nothing was really like tiring us out and anything. And my dad's a police officer, and he asked one of his coworkers, just like talking about it, and one of his coworkers recommended Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he got me and my brother and the rest of my siblings in there, and he kind of didn't realize it would turn into this. But yeah.
Were you were like teachers or school systems telling you like you're a hyper kid?
Honestly, I started doing jujitsu so young, it like really kind of calmed me down. I was like always,
Nice.
always like a really quiet, respectful kid, but I really think that that's from jujitsu. Like I learned, yeah, a
Amazing.
lot about just like not even techniques and stuff, but just like how to kind of conduct yourself. So yeah,
Yeah. I think countries outside of ours, um, I would say some of the Asian countries I've seen in France, like even people who have no business who want in a cage fight, they still learn judo or karate or Krav Maga as a
Mhm.
young age. And I think that helps the culture. Rampage Jackson has said that he believes we would have a better society if everybody fought at least one time to like you learn a respect for an individual. It's like the
Sure.
guy who's wearing the flashy suit, who's screaming on the phone, who's like a bully in traffic. Like that's not a tough guy. Like that guy would get his ass kicked. He would beg for mercy and he would see God 5 minutes into mixed martial arts training. It's
Yeah.
like that to me isn't tough. For you in particular, you sound like it centered you. What about it was attractive to you? The competitiveness, the nature of it. It's like physical chess, or uh, tell me why you gravitated so much. And in my mind, I think you'll be a pro fighter very soon. But like, how did the journey start?
I always kind of, I don't know, I just always had an inkling that like this is what I absolutely love and I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I don't know like what specifically draw that out of me. Like I know now, like, and even back then, like I remember I just like loved training. I loved competing whenever my parents would sign me up for tournaments. Like I always looked forward to that. And like now, like I just love the lifestyle it brings me, you know, like I love training every day. I love getting up with a purpose and I love having like a goal and a date and opponent set. It just really like it makes life a lot simpler, which I really like. And it's something like I thoroughly enjoy and absolutely love doing. Like I couldn't picture myself doing anything else with my life, you know?
Amazing. Was this always the plan, or did you test out possibly wrestling in college?
Yeah, so I always eventually wanted to just to try MMA. Like that was definitely my goal like in high school. Like I'm telling you, diehard fan. Like I would watch the UFC fights. Like I'm telling you, every single weekend. Like I'd be out hanging out with my friends. I'd be like, I'm leaving to go fucking watch the UFC fights. Like I was that hardcore. So I always wanted to do it. Wrestling in college was another goal of mine, but at the same time, I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out because I really want to try my hand in MMA, and I know like this is the time to do it when I'm young to really start and commit to training. But at the same time, like even in my high school wrestling career, I feel like I had a lot of like unfinished business. Like I didn't get to accomplish all the goals I wanted to. So I was kind of battling that. I wrestled a year at Nassau, and then
Oh wow.
the following year, my season got canceled because of COVID, and that kind of killed my. I don't know. I could have wrestled somewhere else, but
It almost happened for a
mind,
reason.
yeah, exactly. Everything happens for a reason. And in my mind, like I was already having that 50-50, like I kind of just want to commit to MMA. Like at that time too, like I was still training at law, like I was doing privates with Steve and stuff. So I was like still wrestling at Nassau and like doing that on the side a little bit. But that just like my season getting canceled was like, all right, this is like a sign from God. I'm gonna stop wrestling, commit my all into MMA, and that's what I've done.
Incredible. Again, we're being joined by at Thomas Fitzsimmons. Are you ever going to change it to at Tom Fitzsimmons before you get the check mark or before you're in the UFC, or do you like the properness of that?
I don't know. So my family calls me Thomas, but my like all my friends and stuff, they'll call me Tom. So I'm like
We-
split,
It,
you
it
know?
might stick with you. Remember,
Yeah.
this isn't family. This is the
No,
brand.
no, this is the brand. I know. I got to figure out what I want to do.
Do we have a nickname?
Tommy gun.
Tommy Gun. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, sir.
I assume that you're a big Top Gun fan.
I didn't even make it up. So who made it up? That's Kelvin Sterling and Matt Frivola. Made it up
Oh,
for me. Yes,
two
sir.
of the realest. Two of the
For the
realest.
realest. Nicest guys ever. I love them both. But yeah, they always like just randomly like Saturdays you've been there for sparring. Like everyone just like cuddles around the cage and just watches whoever's in there. Dude, it's sick. Saturdays I love going in. Oh, it's amazing. It's like a whole little fight club. It's sick. But anyway, I just remember, I don't know. They both were there and like just like hovering on the cage, like in between rounds, and they're like, bring out the Tommy gun, Tommy gun. And they just kept saying it, and I was like, they kept calling me it. And, at first I was like, oh, that's a little cringe, but, it's really grown on me, honestly. I think it's a good nickname. I think it's going to stick.
Well, we are being joined by now. Would I say Tommy Gun, or is it like Tommy and then the gun is in?
You see, that's still up for debate. That's still up for debate. I don't know. I don't even know at this point. I
We'll figure it out. Those are good
got to
problems
figure
to
out the
have.
brand, you know? Yep.
We got any merch? Got any merch yet?
Yes, I actually this is the first time I'm ever getting shirts for this fight. I'm very excited by it. So, yeah.
Do you have one on you?
I don't have one on me. There should be coming here next week, but yeah, next time we do this, I'll have some Tommy gun shirts.
Oh, you don't have it? I gotta go then.
Ha ha.
Just kidding, just kidding. We'll get the merch February 24th, Stereo Garden. Is that correct?
Yep,
Patchogue.
stereo.
All right. Great chance I will be there. That's a birthday weekend, so hopefully you can light your opponent up while I'm lighting up the birthday cake.
Hell yeah. Love that. I'd absolutely love that.
Oh my God. Um, you do not light up your sparring partners. You're actually very perfect at knowing when to hit the gas. Was that something that you've learned, or did somebody like literally have to pull you aside like, dude, because dude, you are so talented. I would have never thought that you had the wrestling credentials that you have. The way you throw your switch stance, step through overhands, or like you were born to like box and kickbox, and then yet you have this wrestling pedigree that's kind of like tucked away in case for a
Yeah.
rainy day. Um, what man, like you're just an excellent training partner. Have other people told you that?
Yeah, I've had like even in high school and stuff, like wrestling, people would always love to be my drill partner. I don't know, I'm a really good partner. I always like have the vibe of like treat others the way you want to be treated. Like I don't want anyone to like literally try to fight and take my head off in sparring, so I'm not gonna do that to someone else, you know. And yeah, I think it's good mutual thing, you know. Don't try to kill each other.
I agree. I agree. It's funny like that. I literally just replayed that on my head the other day. Like treat somebody how you want to be treated. It I feel like we overcomplicate things as we get older. It's like we should keep that like Ray Longo. What I love about him most is he's 60 something, but he still has that like that fun, childish, like kid energy to him.
Yep.
Um you got a Ray Longo story, or is there any like just we could just bow down to Ray for 5 minutes? You got any
Haha.
love for
Well,
the head honcho?
oh my God, I have so much love for him. And like even too, like growing up and watching, you know, Weidman's success and then later on like Ali Quinta, Aljo, Marab, you know, all those guys and just like being just I was such a fan of the team. So it's like sometimes it trips me out. Like whenever I'm in there, I'll like stop and like take a second and be like, look at where you are right now. Like look at who you could say your training partners are. Like look at who you could say your head coach is like Ray Longo. Like it's such a honor and a privilege to be in there. It really is. And like I really take a lot of pride in being a part of that team, you know, and like that's something like I say heavily. Like I really like I couldn't picture myself at any other gym. Like I really love being there and I love that Ray Longo's, you know, at the forefront of that. Really, he's a great man.
We were talking before we hit record about all the women that are hitting you up. I'm just kidding. We were talking about your family with the military background and law enforcement background. I'm just assuming, do they keep you humble? Do they just like pretend like you're just like Tommy uh Fitzsimmons and just one of the other Fitzsimmons, or do they like, oh my God, what did Ray say today? What Matt Favola's got a fight coming up. Oh, is Aljo or Marab? Like take me some behind the scenes from the Fitzsimmons household.
Yeah, no, they just kind of still treat me the same, you know. And even like like my dad, he's just like casual, like we'll watch it if it's on type of thing, the UFC fights and stuff like that. And like, yeah, they'll watch the fights. Like if I tell them like one of my like teammates is fighting, they'll watch it and they'll tune in and they'll ask and stuff. But no, they don't make a big like, you know, big scene out of it or anything like that, which I honestly prefer, you know. I prefer, you know, being a little bit low key and they're very respectful for that, you know. They're not, you know, up my ass about it and it's cool.
What lessons did you learn from wrestling? Just assuming that you didn't go undefeated for 6 or 7 years, but was there a match that uh you felt the loss, or you just came up a little short, and that is going to be something that you can pull from your wrestling career to your MMA career, where it's you're going to face adversity. I hate to break it to you, but MMA is a wild sport. If you could be like Khabib, if you could be like Floyd, who have even faced adversity, even though they have the perfect records. What have you pulled from your wrestling career that you know you're going to excel in this sport, besides being passionate and skilled at it?
Hmm. Yeah, so like you alluded to, like and we talked about before, I didn't accomplish all the goals I wanted to in wrestling. I fell short a few times. I got injured my sophomore year, which ended my season. I was seated really high in the county. I
Oh,
was very
nice.
confident I was gonna win a county title that year.
Oh,
And
wow.
even more so my junior year, I was cutting too much weight. I was like walking around at the time, and this is like all when I'm 16 and I'm like still growing too. I was walking around at like 125 and I was trying to make 106 pounds, like just dumb, and
Oof.
trying to maintain that for like, 3 months in the wrestling season got really hard on my body. And I got really sick like the week before the league tournament. And the league tournament's the first tournament of the postseason to like get to counties, get to states and all that. And I got really sick and I tried to come back and I was out for wrestling like for a good week. Like beforehand, I was really, really sick. I was really messed up. I had the flu. My body was so depleted. I had in order to get better, I had to rehydrate and it was bad. The week of, I'll never forget this week. It's the worst week of my life, honestly. It's just still to this day kind of fucking haunts me. But that Monday, I was 122 pounds. I had to be 106 pounds on Saturday, but I still was sick. I felt like garbage. As I was going through the week, I was trying whatever to make the weight, lose the weight, but my body was just like clinging on to everything. And the Saturday of the tournament, I got to my high school a little bit earlier to lose like whatever weight I had left. And oh, horrible. I felt absolutely horrible. Like I remember like I was dumb, like wouldn't do this again, but or just like advise this to anyone. But on that Wednesday, I was like really having a hard time losing weight. So I like stopped eating on that Wednesday. So like we're Saturday morning killing myself. And I'll never forget this because it's crazy. But I was like, put my sweats on. I had the pound and a half to go. Put my sweats on, all that stuff. I started running around my wrestling room and I got really, really dizzy. Sit down and I blacked out. I don't remember what happened. That ended my junior season. And that fucking hurts. That hurt me. That one hurt me. Even my senior year, I fell short on my goals. I lost in the semifinals at counties, which broke my heart. Um, and yeah, that I pull a lot of strength from. And even just too like wrestling, like it's such a real sport. Like you really find out what you're fucking made of. And yeah, no, wrestling, I wouldn't change anything that happened to me because I know it fuels me going forward. It really makes me the person that I am today, and I wouldn't be here because of those experiences.
Wow. Wow. I respect that. I respect that. I respect not living with any regrets. That means it's like you're following your heart. You're not thinking about things or overthinking things. Um, and you're doing it. So it's follow your heart. You follow your heart every day to the gym. Shout outs to Vanguard Jiu Jitsu, Jason Rua. And is Nick still going to be a part of it, or is he going to be just focusing on his gym?
I think Nick's still a part of it. Yeah, Nick Ronan, he's the man.
Okay. Amazing. Love them.
Love.
Gotta stop by both gyms. My nephew, who is a sweetheart, my sister lives right by the gym, and I can just tell. I go, he's so sweet that some kids are gonna try to take that sweetness from him. I'm like, there's the reason to get him into Vanguard. And he's always grabbing me. He does like a natural double underhooks, and I'm like Nathaniel, this is good. And then he does like the who does it? Not like the Aljo where he like vines the leg or Khabib, but like you remember Leota Machida, like where he would do the double unders and then
Yep.
just like the pull the leg. Yeah, like my nephew naturally does that. I go to my sister. I go, Kimmy, I promise you, he's a natural, and she hates us because he fires me up. I go, oh yeah, and we broke a picture. Needless to say, her wedding picture and he's only like 10 years old, but he's a strong kid. He's a strong kid. What would you say to the next generation, maybe the 13, 14, 15-year-old who is wrestling? Uh, maybe they would like to throw fist. Maybe they would like to throw kicks. Maybe they would like to do jujitsu, but they are doing one discipline right now. They're young. What would you say to them as a piece of advice for somebody who was in their position not so far ago?
Uh, just do it. Follow your heart. Just do it, because you're just wasting time if you just keep, going back and forth in your head. That's what I was doing for a long time, You just got to do it. Follow your heart.
I like that. I like that. And yeah, man, how many days are you at the gym? 5, 6, 7?
Uh, yeah, I'm there at least 6 days a week.
Incredible. So it's like your family, it's like they understand, right? They
Yeah,
they
and
they
yeah.
have to, right? No other choice. Was there ever a talk like Tom, are you serious? Come on, come on. Are you
Oh,
serious? Look at those guys on TV. Look at those guys. They're so mean. Look at you. You're so sweet. Tom, we raised you. We didn't raise these animals who are from the mountains or from the like I'm not trying to like
no, yeah, for sure. There were those talks, but at the end of the day, like, you know, they kind of saw this progression going on, I feel like they kind of knew I was kind of leaning towards it. And of course they don't want me to get in a cage and fight another man for, a living, but they're just still so supportive of me. And I always bring it up to them too, like in the grand scheme of things, like my older sister's a cop, my older brother is a ranger in the military. Like those jobs are a lot more dangerous than fucking what I'm doing, you know what I mean? In a sense, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, we definitely had those talks, but I am very thankful that they are, 100% supportive and trusting in me.
Yeah, and you don't have to move. You don't have to move around. You don't have to get go to another country like to defend with a weapon. It's like you
Yeah.
literally can uh just sit on your couch for 3 months a year. Like if you took off 1 month for each training camp, it's like it's not that bad of a career.
Yeah. It's just, the, 9 or 15 minutes we're in there, then it's a little rough. But other than that,
And yeah, I wanted to ask about that. You're like the sweetest person I know, but yet you turn on a switch as you have to be a successful mixed martial artist. Uh, where does that come from? Is it do you see your older brother face on your opponents when you're in there? Do you see like a teacher or a former wrestling coach? Like, where does that come from?
that's just something I don't know. I kind of always just had in me, like even like wrestling and stuff. Like I don't know. I kind of made it a point to like I was going out there and like win, lose or draw. Like I want to make sure that motherfucker never wanted to step on the mat with me again. I don't know. I kind of always had like a little fucking, I don't know, a dark, I don't know, a demon in me a little bit, but I feel like you kind of have to have that in order to do this. So, yeah. But I don't know if it comes from one specific place or another, but I've kind of always had that in me. I don't know.
That's a fire, man. It's a drive. Um, yeah, I would like to hear what John Jones says after he retires many years and he can talk about it. I feel like his demon is a little out of control. There are
Yeah,
people like Khabib who you could tell he has a fire, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't participate in any like outrageous activity, very humble man.
yeah,
But
I
it's
don't
like
either.
he and there you go.
Yeah,
I tell people all the time I'm living that Muslim lifestyle, and I know why they're so angry. Like I literally try to bottleneck the energy for training or sparring night, and it's like it's an interesting career, man. It's awesome that you're coming up in the time where it's more prevalent and acceptable. Like I heard people at the deli talking about Adesanya, and I was like, oh, this is so
yeah,
cool. How
yeah.
big do you see the sport going? Like
Oh, I see it getting really, really big.
it's not stopping, right?
Not stopping.
Thank you.
It's just on a trajectory up. Yeah, and like I notice it too, like just random people, I'll be out somewhere and I hear them talking about the fights. I'm like, oh shit. It's just to
Bro,
even like I don't even chime in, I just like listen to them
the
talk
same.
about
I didn't
it.
say
Like,
anything. I was just
yeah,
like,
yeah, it's like I can't yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like I can't believe how fucking big it's getting. It's nuts. But yeah, it's really exciting.
It's I think you know Chris Wade.
Yeah,
He made the great point too about why Long Islanders is such a hotbed. Dude, just to be able to get to the gym every day, 3 times, 5 times, maybe 7 times a week, like to be able to survive on Long Island is admirable enough.
for sure.
To be able to diet, live in an expensive place, and then try to be a professional athlete is like nutsos. And it's like he says it breeds that that next level competition, that next level athlete. But meanwhile, on the other side of the world, you see all these Dagestanis and Russians who are like live very simple shepherd lives. Like, yeah, they're training all the same, but it's like no offense, the financial competitiveness is not the same. Like Long Island is so nuts in that way that it's like if you don't have a good support system, your dream is going to drown very quickly. Why, in your opinion, do you believe Long Islanders are so tough? Besides seeing Chris Wyman knock out Anderson Silva, Matt Serra, of course, the general, knock out George St. Pierre, Ally Quinta, go freaking the only person to go 5 full rounds. And he did it on 24 hours notice after training for a kickboxer, a 3 round fight. Like I can never preach it enough. Aljamain Sterling, are you kidding me? Avenging the boogeyman Peter Yan decision and having fun while he was dominating with back control, and then going on one of the greatest bantamweight runs of all time. People still not paying him the proper respect. And then Marab, and then the whole 155 class, the five horsemen that are coming up at Law MMA, and now the bantamweights, the flyweights, Pumi, we got Edwin, we got Donnie, who is feather and bantam, and of course, Mr. Tommy Gun Fitzsimmons. Dude, why is this happening? People would think Long Island's a hotbed for golf. You get the Bethpage, you get the Shinnecock, but why the F is it a hotbed for people punching people in the face?
I just think it's like the culture of Long Island, you know, like like you said, it takes a different type of person to just like be to live okay here, you know what I mean? Like everything's just a hustle, everything's a grind, everything's so competitive. So I feel like if you take those qualities and you apply it to a sport like this, like in my mind, it's just a no-brainer why there's so many talented guys that come out of here, you know?
Are you always going to live here? Do you see yourself in Florida, upstate, not downstate, but upstate? We'll get into that.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was just talking about one of my friends, to one of my friends about this, and like it's gonna be really hard to, you know, it's gonna be really hard to, especially like I'm at the time to try to, you know, save some money and get my own place and rent the place and stuff like that. It's gonna be really hard to, but I'm gonna try my best to, you know. Definitely gonna try my best to. I love living on Long Island. I love saying that I am from Long Island, but yeah, it's rough out there, you know.
And as I brought up the upstate, downstate, Tom Fitzsimmons is fighting for the Flex Fight Series, the FFS flyweight title, the downstate ISKA title, February 24th, Stereo Garden. They always put on a great show. It's a great venue. I've never been to the Duke Arena, but I see that the fans are like on top of the action on the court. That's exactly how Stereo Garden is. Have you talked to your boy Edwin about it? Because dude, he fought there when I don't know if you were in the building with some crazy adversity. I've never heard a local fighter get so booed. The his opponent, who was a very formidable opponent for Edwin, and that dude is going to have a career of his own. I'm talking about Edward Jung. He's faced so much adversity already, and I just think it's just a test. Like the judges' decisions, the poor judges' decisions that he's fought and faced, it's only going to make him better. Has he given you any tidbits for the venue or fighting for Flex?
Yeah, so like I talk with him, I talk with Spataro, who I'm also pretty close with.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, I'm always yeah, whenever they fight there, I'm in the building, so I get the vibe of the place. Uh yeah, I really honestly like it got me antsed up watching them fight, you know? And yeah, I love the pit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I fuck with it so much. I think it's so cool, you know? Um yeah, they've given me plenty of advice and just tidbits about just working with Flex in general, and then like the venue, how it's set up, and all that stuff, which I really appreciate. Uh, yeah, but
Nice.
that I'm telling you, Edwin is going to be great. I'm telling you, he's yeah, like you said, faced some adversity, got a run of bad luck last few fights, but I'm telling you, he's going to be back, and he's legit as fuck. I'm telling you this, like he is always my hardest rounds, always my hardest rounds. Like he is so good and he is so skilled. It's just all about putting it together and, going in there with the right mindset. And he could compete with any amateur flyweight out there. I really believe that he is so good and so talented. And it's just a matter of him, getting in the right headspace and showing up to perform, I think, But like you said, he's had a rough run as far as judges' decisions and stuff goes, and a lot of adversity in his fights. But I'm telling you, like you said, it's just a test, and it's going to make him better.
What nationality is Edwin?
He's Korean, I believe.
North or south?
That I don't know.
See, whatever it is, the judges are opposite.
Oh, for real, for
Oh
real.
my God, they've been killing my man. I was like, did anybody miss this? Like the more pressure,
Yep.
the more clean strikes. Like we were all like cheering for him when we're about to get his hand raised.
I
Dylan
was
Montello.
videotaping it, like no way he got this. Like I'm videotaping it, and they read off. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Like even his kickboxing fight for Bobby Campbell's, like
That's what I'm talking about too.
crazy. But it is what it is. I don't know. I don't know why the New York State Athletic Commission judges they got it out for Edwin for some reason. It's
I
really
don't know. I don't know. But
yeah,
Edwin will bounce back.
for sure.
No doubt about it. Like you can't keep a good man down, and that man is great.
For sure.
Excited to see what the future holds for him. And my apologies if I missed anybody. Shout outs to Robin Schultz, obviously Anthony Spataro, and my boy Isa Sultan. Just dude, New York is it's coming. I think we've always been like we had champions before it was even freaking legal in New York. But
Yeah,
that's nuts. And now with the legalization 8 years ago, 2016, like you guys, you and your entire generation, your wave of fighter, it's going to be incredible to see. I can't wait to see. Pumi should be in the UFC this year. No freaking doubt about
no
it.
doubt. Right?
Law MMA is just constantly on the map. What are we gonna do? Is Ray Longo gonna just like chime in on a Zoom screen? Is he always just gonna come down? Does he have like a son that's gonna take over? Like, dude,
I'm
like,
telling you, Steve Lee's the man. I love that man
great
like a
point.
brother.
Great
Steve Lee's
point.
the man. And I like shout out to him. I would not be here without him. He's such a great role model for me and such an amazing coach and teammate. Like I really love that dude. He's the man.
And he
But yeah,
fights. He's not just a manager. He,
and
he
he fights.
fights.
Yes, sir.
Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. What are some of your goals? Do you have a timeline? I know everybody's like, oh, 18 months, 24 months. I do this many fights in this amount of time, and I could get to there to the DWCS, the Dana White Contender Series. Do you have a timeline? Do you even think about that, or you just join the ride?
I try my best to just keep it one fight at a time because I know how kind of hectic. Like I used to do like the timeline stuff in my head, but as I've gotten on and stuff, I've realized that, MMA is so chaotic, especially on like when you're coming up the local scene. It's hard to really put a timeline on anything. So I'm just really trying to take everything one fight at a time, one day at a time, one opponent at a time, because yeah, it's so chaotic. But yeah, it's just ideally, I have a little bit of a timeline as far as like how I'd like to schedule my year out, ideally, you know what I mean? If all goes well in February, I'd like to fight again in May or June. And that's about as far as I've thought out in my head. But I really try to keep it one fight at a time, really focus and hone in on this and just even just like day by day, just taking it. I can't because I've had in the past like opponents drop out and I don't fight for a few months because I can't get a fight and all that stuff. So I just really try to focus one fight at a time and keep it small like that. And I know I'm coming up, like this is gonna be my fifth amateur fight. I know I'm coming up to that level where like I could turn professional soon, but I really want to just go whenever I feel comfortable. Like this is going to be my first fight like for a title against the last guy I fought was good, but like this guy also 4-0, so against, Flex is always a big show and stuff too. So just all new experiences and stuff. And yeah, I just want to make the most of my amateur career first and get as much experience before really going to the next level. Because when you go to the next level, all that shit matters. Your record 100% matters. And yeah, I just want to if I have any licks, I want to take them now and learn from them. And yeah, that's it.
Are you a big boxing guy? You pay attention to boxing historically or as like
Not really. No, that's something I wish I would do more. Like even at the gym, like Ray and Steve, they always watch like
I
old.
know.
Like,
I see
yeah, I
it.
know that's something I gotta do. But yeah, I'm like a big though MMA historian. You could ask me anything, and there's damn good chance I'll know it. But yeah,
All right.
boxing's something I gotta look
Be,
into more. But
be careful what you wish for. We might have to do a trivia game. But what I was gonna say with the boxing, okay, then do you generally know that boxers build their records,
yes, hmm
inflated records?
for sure.
Like I found out that Ryan Garcia, what was he, 20 something and 0 against Tank Davis? Those are two boxers. I'm sure you know them, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, yes, I
Just
do.
just
Yeah.
just nod if you
No,
don't.
I'm like a casual boxing fan. I'm not like, you know what I mean?
So Mike Tyson is about to fight Ryan Garcia. Okay. No, 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 just kidding. Bad joke, bad joke. Um, some of Ryan Garcia's fights were against like guys who were 3-9, 4-12. Um, it builds that confidence. And sometimes coaches, I heard this with Terrence Crawford's coach, that he wants to see how he does against a lefty, see how he does against a powerful guy, see how he does against somebody who's faster. And it's always to build up to, and then you scoop up those amateur titles, as you will do February 24th. First title, is that correct?
First title, yes, sir.
Let's go. And in my opinion, I would not be surprised. I talked to an MMA fighter who is 20 amateur fights. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I think that's going to start happening more.
Yeah,
Are
like
you prepared to do 10 fights? Is it like a feel thing? Are you prepared to do 15? Do you want, say you knock the guy out, you win the title? Like, can you handle somebody saying, oh my God, you're so good, Tommy, you should go pro? Okay, I'll go pro. Like, have you thought about these scenarios?
yeah, no, for sure. And like, I don't know, I'm pretty realistic with myself. Like like if someone is blowing smoke up my ass and saying if I do go out and I have a great performance, like at the end of the day, like I know that I have some holes to fill before I turn professional and even just gaining experience. But yeah, I don't have like a hard number. 20 is a lot of amateur fights to be honest. For MMA, I think, I'm thinking ballpark how many more I have, maybe from the range from like at least it all depends on how I feel. Like it
10
is
might be a sweet spot.
yeah, 10 might be a sweet spot. Yeah. Like I'm thinking like either in between like maybe 2 to 6 more. It really depends. And that's like kind of a big gap, It really depends on just how I feel and how fights go.
Excellent. Are you you guys know shin guards, right?
No shin guards.
Is this first time?
First time. That's the other thing too. Yeah. Very
There you
excited
go.
about that.
Tommy De Gennaro, obviously, Beethoven the grappler. This is his first fight without shin guards. It's like, y'all let me know how it is. It sounds scary. It's like exciting. We obviously know about like the fears of it, and like the calf kick is so prevalent now. It's like it's intense. So it's like, yeah, I like the way you see it. Like, could be 2 fights, could be 6 fights,
Yeah.
and you're always learning.
hmm
Who is somebody who keeps you in check, like in humble, who's like sees something that maybe you don't see, but you don't argue with them because you are an intelligent person.
hmm
You are very smart, and your brain operates fast. I wanted this interview to go longer because I could tell how excited you were at the beginning, but now it's like I got you down to like an 8. You were like an 11. Now we're down to an 8. Who is somebody that can respectfully tell you that you listen if you're doing something wrong?
Steve Lee. He's the man. Telling you.
Amazing.
Steve Lee's the man. But even like I take criticism really well. Like anyone could tell me advice, and like I think it's so important to just like even if it's a different point of view or looking at things, you know what I mean? Like I really value that. Like even like I won't like if some guy who's just, just came in the gym, we don't know, but if he gave me an advice or a tip on something like that, like I'm not just gonna like disregard it and you know what I mean? Like I'm really open to ideas, open to criticism. But yeah, Steve watches like everything I do. He watches all the sparring I do. He's training alongside me every single day. So yeah, and I always ask him for advice. And in turn, he'll ask Ray and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's great. But yeah, Steve's really who I like to bounce my ideas off of, and he tells me, you know, he just gives me good insight.
Amazing. Does Steve have anything lined up?
No, I don't think so. I think he's just focused on coaching right now. I think it's like hard to balance the two. So he's trying to figure out kind of what's his next step, I believe.
Who's going to be in your corner February 24th?
Uh, that's a good question. Definitely Steve, and yeah. Usually Uh, Dylan Mantello has been in my corner for all of my fights. He's fighting the week or two before, so I don't know how that's gonna work out. He actually, this is funny. My last fight, his wife was in labor too, actually, and he still like showed up to corner me. I was like, "You're crazy, you're crazy." But yeah, no, he's the man too. Dylan's helped me so much. Like even when I first stepped in the gym, and like he's a really intimidating guy. Like he's just so quiet, like really intimidating. And like he came up to me like a few times like after like taking the classes and he'd like show me tips and stuff and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so fucking cool that Dylan Mantello just gave me pointers and yeah, no, he's the man too. I love him. Yeah.
I feel like Dylan could wear a leather jacket. He could be in that movie Roadhouse.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
hey, kid, you know what you're doing wrong. It's like, oh no, Mr. Roto.
For real, for real.
Oh my gosh. And it was scary when he was like, oh my God, can you believe Edwin with the judge? I was like, yeah. I was like, just don't hurt me.
He is, yeah, no, he's terrifying whenever he gets
I don't
upset or
know.
angry about something. I just try to get out of the way. I'm just like,
Oh my God. I don't know how he makes 155.
yeah, he's also huge. Yeah, no.
Dude, I'm like, geez, are you eating like a piece of lettuce and like a can of tuna? Like, I
Uh,
don't know.
yeah, no, for real.
My final thing then, this is like full circle talking about diet. What have you learned from that horrible junior year experience in high school wrestling, nutrition wise?
Well, I think the weight cuts in general are just different compared to like a wrestling season. And then like for the wrestling season, I had to make weight like every 2 or 3 days. But
Oh, wow.
now, yeah, yeah. But
We're
now,
going up and down 20 pounds every 70 hours or
no, it's
48.
no, it's because I was sick. So I like blew
Oh,
up to like get better. And then I had
oh, so what were you walking around at?
like during in the season
Yeah.
when I had to make weight every few days.
Hmm.
Uh I'd so I wrestled 106. I was like I'd get up to like 112, 113 and then like cut. Yeah.
Oh,
But I like the reason why I
I
like
thought it was
because I thought
especially hard to get that weight off when you were sick. I didn't know that you were sick. It do it
yeah,
the
I was sick and I blew up my weight and then I had to yeah, no, it was terrible.
oh my gosh. So it's like should be scot-free now, right?
Oh,
Easy
it's
peasy.
and yeah, and even now like I'm not the biggest flyweight. That's something I'm trying to get, I'm trying to put on some size. I also know I'm still young. I'm gonna fill out a little bit more, but I only walk around at like 37, 38. So like I have an easy cut. I've 12, 13 pounds and that's no problem.
If you're trying to gain weight, there's a decent place on 25 called Amici's, which is, I believe, by Miller's Place,
Uh,
which isn't too far from you. So look it
yeah.
up. They make incredible Italian dishes. This podcast is not sponsored by Amici's, but any shout outs to your favorite restaurants in Stony Brook or Lake Grove or Center Reach?
Seaport Deli. Seaport Deli is amazing. Have you ever had a sandwich from there?
What road? Give me a little direction.
Let's see. It's right by, Downport and Port Jeff, where like the Port Jeff area is.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Right up.
Salsa, salsa, baby.
Yes, it's right up the road from there. It's amazing. They make great like over the top, crazy sandwiches. It's the
Wait,
best.
is there a Tommy's place there?
Yes, there is the
Come
bar.
on, get
Yeah.
that sponsorship already. What are we doing?
Right? Oh,
They make incredible wings. Am I Am I right or am I right?
That I never had. I've never had Tommy's Place wings. I've only been in there a handful of times. I like hate going out, so
All right. Well, if I'm buying, would you do a sit down interview, Tommy gun inside of Tommy's?
oh yeah.
We'll do like the hottest wings. And I hate hot wings,
Ooh,
but
I hate hot wings too. We don't have to be so hot.
I
I'll
don't
definitely
know.
do wings though, for sure.
Sounds good. And yeah, can't wait to catch up with you in gym before your flex fight series, downstate ISKA title fight, February 24th. My brother, you are in great spirits. I'm happy for you. And it's amazing to know that you are doing what you love each and every day. God bless you. Good luck. And thank you to your family service, law enforcement, military. I really appreciate that. And yeah, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
No one in particular, just all my teammates, my training partners at Law MMA, Vanguard. Yeah, my family for all the support, my friends, all the support. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you having me on here. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Always fun chatting with you. And yeah, thank you.
No problem. And everybody get the Tommy Gun merch coming out very soon. Tom Fitzsimmons at Thomas Fitzsimmons. Take care, my brother.
Thank you, Ike. Appreciate it.